What's going on, Jerome's raw, real, audio only rant and Brian Flores. So it's unfortunate that Brian Flores didn't get another shot to be a head coach this offseason. I think that he definitely has the skill set. I think that he's a true leader of men. I think that he has learned a lot during his time here with the Vikings. And I think that if he's given another shot, I think that he'd be a fantastic head coach. All right, but had a couple of interviews during the cycle, Jets, Bears, as well as the Jaguars. Nothing doing there. I think that he will get an opportunity at some point, but it just wasn't right now. And for the Vikings, like, he does return for year 3, and Flores did fantastic work with the defense over the last 2 years. Right, so in 2023, took what was one of the worst defenses in the league and brought them about middle of the table. And then last year, the defense was number 5 in points, and they were number 1 in turnovers. And they're aggressive. They got after things. Top 5 in sacks, top 5 in pressures, and all that good stuff, right? But towards the end of the season, just the lack of interior defensive line pass rush, it definitely got to him. Plus age on the back end definitely showed up in a big way as well. And it just sort of is what it is. But I feel like this defense has completely bought in to what Flores wants to do schematically. And I think that another offseason, maybe some talent upgrades across the board, and I think all of a sudden this defense, which was top 5, like we said, top 5 in points last year, I think that they could ascend to the heights and be one of the best and most dominant defenses in the National Football League. And basically, there's going to be some changes. I think Harrison Smith is back for another year. Beasley, TBD. Byron Murphy Jr., TBD, as well as Stephon Gilmore. I think he retires. Right, so I think that there's going to be a lot of changeover in the secondary, but the pillars are there. Jonathan Grenard, didn't have a career high in sacks, but a career high in pressures. He was number 3 in the league in pressures, and consistently getting it done in clutch moments, and that was fantastic. Andrew Van Ginkel having a career year, having double-digit sacks, having those 2 pick sixes. It was great. It was great to see Van Ginkel really succeed here with the Vikings. Play Cashman outside. How about that? Turn in a career year as well. And I honestly think that the Vikings front 7, if they can get some semblance of pass rush with the interior, is going to be good to go. All right. And Flores had to blitz so much because he had to blitz so much. And I know that he's aggressive by nature, but at the end of the day, if they know that you're going to blitz every single time, teams can pick it up, right? And that's what was frustrating, is that both the Rams game. So the first Rams game, they had like 80% of their offensive line out with injury, and they stonewalled the Vikings pass rush. Stonewalled. Like, Stafford was pressured on 3 of his dropbacks and 0 sacks. It was so damn frustrating, right? And also, if you want to compete in the NFC, you look at the Lions. They have an elite offensive line. You look at the Eagles. They have an elite offensive line. And they have a quarterback where if you don't get stank on him, he can really hurt you. And I honestly think that that's where the Vikings need to focus on. They can pass rush the edge all day long. And they got Grenard, AVG, Diamond Dallas Turner year 2. They're going to be good to go there. But that quick interior pass rush, they need to dedicate a ton of assets towards that. And they need to look towards the Eagles, right? And Jalen Redmond, I'm glad that they brought him back. I think that he could be a major part of that. Seems like every single time 61 was on the field, good things tended to happen. But be aggressive in free agency. Look at Osa Odigizua. Look at Milton Williams. Look at Levi Onwuzurike from the Lions. And in the draft, this draft is amazing at defensive line. Whether you need a nose, Kenneth Grant, J.J. Pegus, Jordan Phillips, whether you need a disruptor, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon. I mean, this is a really damn good defensive line class, and the Vikings need to partake multiple times, right? And that's going to be the equalizer. And there's a lot of things that Flores can learn from Vic Fangio. Fangio was with the Bears and the Broncos. Like, he was an uber aggressive, blitz all the time defensive coordinator, right? And there is certainly a time and place for that. That's what I don't want Flores to lose. That, hey, when it's time to bring the wood, bring the heat consistently, go do that. But I love that Fangio recognized what he had with the Eagles. It was different than with the Dolphins last year. It was different than with the Bears and with the Broncos. He has one of the best defensive lines in the game, if not the best. and he utilized it. And just getting back to where you can get pressure with 4, it's going to be glorious. And Flores wants to play a lot more press man, but if you're blitzing all the time, you can't do that. All right? And had to play a lot of zone. And if the Vikings can get back to a spot where they can get a pass rush of 4, that really opens things up. Because now they can play press man across the board. And they can do it with safety help because you got 7 in coverage. So I think that's exactly where Flores is going to learn a lot of things. I think there's going to be a lot of turnover, pun intended, with the Vikings defensive line, and there's going to be a lot of changeover in the secondary. But the core tenets of it is the young players rising up. The Ivan Pace Juniors, the Diamond Dallas Turners, the Jalen Redmonds, the Levi Drake Rodriguez's of the world, as well as the veterans like Phillips and Grenard and AVG and Cashman and Harrison Smith back for another run. And also young guys, young corners like Mekhi Blackman, Nudie McLaughlin, etc. And leaders like Metellus. Like, all these guys are in the defense for another year. And many of them for the 3rd year. So they have a chance to really grow and show. And Flores has a chance to really settle things in because continuity is so huge here on defense. So I think that, again, it sucks that Flores didn't get a head coaching job this cycle. But honestly, it benefits the Vikings because now with the talent infusion and with the leaders another year in this defense, I honestly think that the Vikings defense could become the best in the league. And that makes life so much easier for McCarthy and the offense, man. So, picture perfect. Both lines get fixed and the Vikings become the best defense in the league. And also they're able to run the ball whenever they want, which is an underrated facet of the game. And you got J.J. McCarthy looking super comfortable, chucking the rock all over the place to Justin Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, everyone. You're going to be good to go, right? But, again, if Flores' loss is the Vikings' gain and should be taken care of, become highest paid coordinator in the league. And Flores has said that his family loves it here. They've been welcomed with open arms, and they got a great community. And if it's a spot where Flores, with the lawsuit and whatever, if he's going to be frozen out forever, it could be a spot where you got twin head coaches, Kevin O'Connell and Flores, taking care of that defense. And they have a great working relationship, going back to New England. And you love to see them get along. And you love to see them work in tandem to get after things and find success. And perhaps this is going to be them together long term. Wouldn't be mad at that at all. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Flores year 3. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull Production.